Hi and welcome to RC Kicks. On today's show, well, we're going to be back looking at the RC Kicks collection. Now, this is not as easy as it sounds. It's been over 10 months since I last did another video on the collection as it was, and that video ended up being the best part of 2 hours. Now, the collection has continued to grow and we've topped over 100 RC vehicles. I have come up with a genius plan. We're basically just going to break it down into different selections and genres, if you will. So we'll do an on-road, then we'll do a buggy video, then we'll do a crawler, monster truck video, and then we'll do a wrap-up video with all the sort of random bits and pieces that we have to try and make it easier for me to make this video, as well as so you can see the whole collection or pick out what's interesting to you. So first of all, we're going to kick off with road cars. So the first RC Kicks road car that we're going to dive into and take a look at is this, the V6 Opel Calibra on the TA02 chassis. Now, when I picked this one up, to be honest, I got it mainly to make content as a build video for the channel. Wasn't overly sold on it. And after I finished building it, actually I really loved it. So much so, I actually invested way too much money in it, but we'll come to that shortly. Now, this kit is 47461. It came out this year and you can still get it now. It's about £169. So if you're interested in this, I recommend getting it. There is actually a slightly different version of it where you can get it with a different chassis, which has a slightly different livery, but the same body. I'll put a picture up here of what it is. So if you're tempted to get one, make sure I would personally get this one, as the chassis is so much better. Now, this was based on a vintage car that came out under kit 58150, which is the 21st of February 1995, and that again was on the TA02 chassis. So basically they just reproduced it as it was, which I think is brilliant. Really like that. For me, as I've built more and more cars, I now get more interested in the chassis and what's underneath, and also like buying cars for their body sets and then putting them under slightly different chassis and things like that, just to make it a bit more interesting for me, instead of doing lots and lots of the TT02, for instance. I went a bit nuts and I put in the TA02 option carbon chassis kit, which was £120, which is basically going on for a massive chunk of the actual kit originally. And that's 47479. Now, I'll show you what I mean. The only other real difference that I've done is I've got MST rims on this one. Well, if I can get the never put bodies on or off on camera, it always never works. So this one has a beautiful carbon chassis swap on it. I've done the videos on it, you can find them on the channel. Electronic wise, it's fully working, but there's nothing super special in this. This car won't be driven, or maybe once or twice, and I'll put some protection on the bottom. So it's running just a radio link, standard silver can, and a Tamiya ESC. Nothing special, and if I was going to run this in anger, I would definitely upgrade the electronics in it. So the wheels that I've got are MST, like I said, and the only reason is just to make it a little bit different. The only small thing I've got waiting to do, which I did plan to do the other day, is I have this, which is 47393. It's the TA02 high-speed gear set. I'm going to fit that in it. What's the point of fitting this to this car if I'm not going to actually use it and it's just a shelf queen? I don't know. I just do this crazy stuff. Does it make sense? Obviously not. Do I do it? Yeah. Why? Not the brightest tool in the box. Anyway, let's move on to the next car. So the next road car we're going to look at is this offering from Schumacher Racing, which came out in October 2020. It's the Mission FT front wheel drive. Now, this is a dedicated take it to the track car. When you buy this kit, you don't get wheels, tires or body or anything, and you have to pick and choose what works for you. Obviously, if you're going to be a track racing person, you're going to have your favorite bodies and your tires. So that's why you have to pick them up when you buy the kit. I went with a sort of standard look of what they used for their marketing material, and I really liked it. Love these rims, they're really beautiful. Very lightweight body. Now, it doesn't look much, being that it's front wheel drive. There's basically some trailing wheels and all the power and everything's done at the front. Now, you can get a conversion to make this into four-wheel drive, and I've been so tempted. It's £79.99 and it's available today, and comes with a rear diff and the belts to turn it into four-wheel drive. Now, I think that would make a really good video for the show, but I don't know. If I turn this into a four-wheel drive car, I've got quite a lot of those, so it then loses what makes it so unique, which is why I have it in the collection, and I haven't sold it on. Now, to kind of put some effort into this car. I didn't just put standard electronics in it. I've actually put some well-known brands to kind of complement how good this car is. So it's got a Savox SC1252 servo, bonkers fast. The steering on this car is amazing. Then I've got a Hobbywing combo set, which is an Easy Run Max 10 and a 3652 SL Easy Run brushless motor, making it really fast. So this drives beautifully, but I've just noticed, it's been sitting on the shelf for a while because I haven't driven it for a while, that the rear shocks have leaked. I've got oil everywhere, so I'm gonna have to rebuild the rear shocks before I drive it next time. But I really do enjoy it. So I don't know, is it worth putting the conversion kit in it? Would you like to see that? Comment below, let me know, but I'm not sure. There is some other things that I really want to get, and that's purely from a bling point of view, is they do alloy diff mounts for this, and they're beautiful, really nice. So I must admit, tempted. You have to get them in sets of 4, really. They sell them in 2s, but you need the front and the rear, and they're $19.99, so it'd be an extra £40, but they are beautifully machined. But again, I've kind of held off, being that that's just £40 I could put to another project. So there you go, that's the Mission FT. The next road car is this. I did this quite recently. This is the Mercedes-Benz 190E. Now this came out on the TT01E chassis and is kit 58638. You can still pick this up now. It's about £129. There is a different version of this you can get, which is the white and green version. That's 58656. And I've actually seen that as low as £110. So a fantastic body and well worth doing. Now, I've kind of done quite a lot of TT01E chassis, so I've actually changed the chassis on this one to a TA02 chassis. Well, I think it is. It might be a TA01. Yeah, I think it's a TA01. Now, the reason I had this, and to be completely honest, I've forgotten where I even got this from. When I did the fix and flip project, things got a little bit complicated. If you've seen that video, we'll come to this car in a bit, but I ended up having to buy another car to get some bits and pieces that I wanted, and part of the offspin of that was this chassis, and I wanted to change this body and put it on something a bit more different, so I put it on this. So that's how it ended up with this chassis and with these aftermarket shocks. Apart from that, it's pretty standard torque tune motor, Tamiya ESC, and a 12 kg servo with a radio link. There's no other upgrades as far as I know. I'm not sure if I may have upgraded to the high-speed gear set in this one, and no, it doesn't have a one-way diff. That's pretty much it. I remember having quite a problem with this one because it's never been run, but it was put together with all wrong screws and stuff. Anyway, I sorted it all out. So that's the Mercedes 190E, and there was actually a Tamiya kit that came out with this body set and this chassis. So technically it's okay, sort of. Next, we turn our attention to a Porsche, an entry-level TT02 chassis. This is the Carrera RSR 2.7 litre in the Martini livery. Brilliant kit, highly recommend this, especially if you're starting out. Easy to build chassis with lots of potential, and the body, you can do lots of fun things with it. You don't have to stick with the Martini livery, you actually get some stickers in the kit, so you can turn it into a road car if you prefer. This one's been modified slightly, as in it's white instead of the box art, which is silver, but it's still got all the standard livery on it. I've pimped it a little bit. It's got the light buckets at the front, it's got metal window wipers, which helps with the detail, and I've changed the rims, the stock kind of like Fusi wheels, to these MST adjustable deep dish rims, so that you can get the actual wheels to line up perfectly. That's a bit of a challenge on this kit. The kit wheels work well, but you can still add more width to the side of this car. This one has a driver cockpit installed on it. Doesn't come with that, you have to do that yourself. But I over tinted the windows before I fitted this cockpit, so you can't really see it that much, but I don't mind. It's just a hint that there's a driver in there. Now, the main thing on this one is I've done quite a lot of modifications to the chassis. As you can see, it's well past being a stock TT02. All the blue is obviously being added, starting with the upper adjustable arms have been fitted, full steering, prop and prop cups at the ends have been done. The pinion and spur gear housing has been swapped out. The top rear arms are the same. The rear uprights, they've been swapped out. It's got oil diffs as far as I can remember, and also it's got oil shocks. I'm not sure if this kit comes with friction shocks or oil shocks. For some reason I think it comes with friction, so I've changed them to oil. Then you've got a carbon battery tray cover, And the electronics are pretty standard. There's nothing super special about those. And that's pretty much it. This one hasn't really been driven. When I built this one, Rebecca built one as well, and then we drove that one, and then we sold that one on. So I took some bits and pieces and put it on this, and then slowly over the years I've been collecting bits and pieces for TT02s, and I've just put it all on this one. So it sits on the shelf, but it does look very blingy. Next we have a car that's been on the show more times than you might think. Now the body you'll only have seen in one video, but the chassis has actually been in about 3 or 4 videos. This is the M-08 concept chassis, which is 58669. Now a long time ago I did a sponsorship with EuroRC and they sent me this chassis for review. Now I took this chassis and we put it under the Mark II Escort when it came out from Tamiya, and I pitched the Escort chassis, which was 4-wheel drive, which was a bit weird, with this, which is a rear-wheel drive car, and that was the thing about Escorts used to be rear-wheel drive. And I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't overly in love with the Escort, so I put the body back on that and sold it off as stock. This chassis then sat on the shelf for a while, and I thought I've got to put a body on it, as I really liked it and it was fun to drive. So I picked up this MX-5 2015 body, but it just comes with the window decals and stuff. It doesn't give you any kind of like livery or anything. So I thought, what am I going to do with it? I could paint it up as a road car, but then I thought, a bit boring. So I thought I would create a weekend track day toy look for someone who takes a car and goes track daying at the weekends. And this is kind of what I came up with. Also, I tried a few different techniques on this. When you paint the black, you have to actually clear it from the outside, but you use matte clear. So while I did that, I thought I would try something else, and I painted the whole body white apart from the roof, and then on the outside I painted the front and rear bumper. After I did that, I then cleared it with matte clear as well, and it worked brilliantly. Really happy with it. Sharp lines. Now obviously when you take it and drive it around a track, at some point you're going to start scuffing this, but then I kind of like that look. I want it to look like a used track day. So this will be coming to the RC Kicks Force Raceway meet. Now it's less than a month away. I haven't talked about it for a while, but it's still, tickets are available for the Saturday and for the Sunday. I need to check about the Saturday. I think it's sold out now. So if you'd like to come, all the information is in a link in the description below if you want to meet up with a load of RC Kicks viewers and myself and Rebecca. But this will be going to the track to drive around. As for the chassis itself, well, it's well worn and it's done a few miles. Nothing super special about it. It's pretty much stock, apart from it's got full bearings in it. I'm not sure if you get full bearings in the kit, probably. I did notice it has a gyro on it. I think I was messing around at some point trying to get it to drift a little bit, but being that it's such a short wheelbase and it's got rubber tyres on the back, that's pretty much impossible. But I was just messing around with gyros for a while. But apart from that, it's pretty much stock, but it drives brilliantly. Next road car in the collection is this, a banger from Camtech. This is the short wheelbase banger. It's a hard body, very strong, very thick piece of metal that runs along the chassis. Basically, this is designed to meet 2 criteria. 1, to be as budget friendly as possible, and 2, to be as strong as possible, because the idea is you build one of these up, you paint it up like a banger, and you take it to an oval track and you go banger racing with it, and you smash into each other. And these hard polycarbonate bodies take a real beating. Now I can highly recommend getting one of these. They're super basic, super easy, and crazy budget friendly. This one is £105 with the wheels and tyres and the body. Yep, and you can actually get a mechanical speed controller. It's very, very basic. And then you get a little tiny battery, and then you can just smash these up. That's basically how it works. And then you can buy many different bodies. When you actually purchase this one, you actually get an option to choose a body that you like. This one is a Jag, an old Jag. And then you smack them up. I'm so tempted to get a few more of these and paint them up so I can get the kids to ram them into each other and do our own little destruction derby. Also, at some point, I want to get down to one of the tracks, as it looks like an absolute blast. So that's my Camtech. Also, you can get all these funky decals as well. I got them from Keith Signs to really make it into a real sort of traditional banger style thing. Now I've also found out since I made this one that you can do full metal bangers, and I actually still have a full body made by someone in metal. And the idea is you put it together and then you actually smash up one of these metal to metal, just like a real banger car. And I'm yet to do that on the show. What I've got to do is actually got to pick up another one of these chassis, because I've got all the internals that you mount the metal body to, and I've got the metal body. I just need to get an actual short wheelbase kit, as I don't really want to dismantle this one, as it is brilliant. And at some point I will take this to a track and smash it up. So this is quite a recent addition that I put on the channel, and it's kind of the way I'm going with a lot of my road cars now, is basically finding a kit that's currently available, taking the chassis and then maybe finding a much harder, rarer body and then fitting it to it. And that's what I've done here. So the chassis underneath this is a TA03RS, and that's from the Porsche GT1 Street that's currently available. You're looking at about £165. Now, I really like that chassis, so I wanted to mate it up with something a bit different. Now, at first I wasn't too sold on the Porsche GT1, but I've seen a few people that have done some more different things. When you get the kit, it's basically white, but I've seen a few people do some Pennzoil, and I've seen the Porsche Rothmans livery on it. Looks really good, so I probably will do something with it, and I'm keeping that body set for another project and maybe putting it on a different chassis. We'll see. So that's what I did. I took the chassis itself and then I put this body on it. Now this is a Porsche 911 GT2, but it's been modified a little bit. The one that Tamiya brought out as an RC car was 2015, which was the 911 GT2 Racing. Now that was on the kit 84399, but they also did a plastic model which was a 1/24th scale, and that was 24247, and that was a road version. Now the main two differences between that is the 1/10th RC car, which this body is obviously based on, has a much higher wing. They basically took the street version and they modified it to make the wing higher for the track. But I wanted to make this into a road car, so I've actually modified this and put it back to how it should have been. So you cut these sections off, then you move the spoiler down, and then you get rid of all the screw holes and then paint it up. And I'm really happy with it. It's come along quite far. It's not finished like so many other projects. The headlights need to be changed for actual buckets. Since this has been on the show, I've put brake discs in the wheels, and I've got the right tyres on it now, so it's got road tyres. So it's coming along. The next thing it really needs is I need to get thinner edging tape. This seems a little bit too thick, so I'll see if I can do that, and I'll do that off camera. Apart from that, putting an interior in it next is another one, but I'm really chuffed with it. It came out beautifully, and I'm really happy that I got the correct wheels. These are very close to the actual road going car, and I love this color. It definitely screams road car, not a like converted race car or anything like that. I did a few different things to it, like it's got the 3D printed body pins, and I've put number plates on it now, as well as it has proper exhaust pipes that kind of rattle and move around a little bit. So it's coming on. I want to try and get as much detail as I can on this car. There's a few things, like at the back here you can see there's a sticker for a radiator. It would be nice to actually do a flat piece like a radiator, just put in there to give it a 3D texture. That's something else that I want to do. But super chuffed with this one, really like it. And you end up with something that's quite rare. This body is not that easy to find. And we continue with Porsche, and it's going to be this one, not this one. I'll explain in a minute. Starting with this one. Now, this is a very, very rare kit. This is basically a 10th anniversary Tamco car. They only made 333 of them, and this is one of them. Now, what Tamco did to celebrate their 10th anniversary with Tamiya, they actually took a different kit, which was the Black Edition kit 47362, and that was the TA02 short wheelbase, and then they changed the box and they put a cover on it. Then they gave you the decals for this design, because the Black Edition obviously was just black. So, and it became a limited edition, and those are all gone. And if you want one of these, you're better off probably trying to fake one. It is possible to do that. You can actually make that happen, but if you've got to have the box, the paperwork and everything like that, this is actually a real one. Now, there's This I did on the show. There is all videos on this one, and I was lucky enough to get this when it was just coming out, you know, so I paid reasonable money for it, not what they are worth now. The body's not sitting right because it has the has the problem with the wheelbase not matching the body. This one, it seems to be, it varies depending on your kit. Some are worse than others. Now this one, it's really bad on it, but not sure why. So I'm actually in the process, I mean, it's been sitting on the shelf with no body pins or anything, but I'm in the process now of fitting magnets. I've done the back, I just need to finish off the front. This one is never really going to be driven, so it's going to just sit on the shelf, but I wanted to get the body done, and I've got to adjust the wheelbase as well. Now the reason this one is here is this is the 45th anniversary Porsche with a different body. The actual body is up here, but this is a rally body. If you haven't seen the videos, I made a mistake and I put the body pins in the wrong place, so I had to get a whole new body set, which is what I did. Please excuse the rims, these are just temporary holding rims, these are not the correct rims. So I decided instead of scrapping this, I would actually turn it into a rally. There's all videos on this one as well, and where the body pins were in the wrong place, I have this now, which is where the fog lights would live. And I'm really chuffed. I actually prefer this being a mistake than that one. But this is going to be in the rally video of all my rally cars, so it can't technically really be in this video, but to show you it is possible to actually buy a anniversary one and turn it into this if you wanted to. That is the white version of the same car, but it would be possible to buy aftermarket decals, use that body set or another body set. These are very, very rare body sets. So I think I was the last one in the UK to grab a spare body set, because I got about 4 or 5 people contacted me after they saw what I'd done and asked me where I got it from. So I'm very, very lucky. And I've actually got another one as well hidden away, but I'm not telling anyone because that's going to be used for something else. But this can't be on this show because that's a rally car. Now, the chassis in this is a T802 short wheelbase, just like the anniversary, 45th anniversary Porsche. So they are very, very similar. So kind of Tamiko did it before Tamiya did. So the actual chassis is the is really, really nice, apart from the wheelbase problem. But you can fix that, and I fixed that in my 45th. There's a few things you can do. You can get aftermarket arms that have been readjusted. You can adjust them themselves with modifying them slightly. You know, I've got a video on it as well, but I will do it on this one as well. It does come out quite nice. I've actually done it here, so it looks pretty much stock. You can't really tell. But this, I would only recommend this way of doing it if you're really going to be doing light driving and shelf queening. If you're going to be beating on this, then you're probably better off changing the chassis to a short wheelbase adjusted chassis, which is what you can get, which fixes this problem, because it does offset the mounting point and makes it more leverage. I don't want to go into too much. If you want to know more about all that, I did a whole video on it. But I'm happy with it for what it's going to be, and it looks almost stock, so you wouldn't know anyway. And I'm happy, but do what works best for you. This one, it's got full bearings, pretty much stock. The only thing I put in it is a vintage motor. It's got a Dynarun motor, brushed motor in it. It's got an old Core FHSS Core RC receiver, which now these have become insanely expensive and hard to get hold of, and I've got about 15 of them, so I'm really chuffed about that, as that's the stick radio, and they're just so hard to find now. But apart from that, it's done a little bit of driving, but these kind of cars are real collector's shelf queens more. The rims that you see on this one are not the actual factory ones. These are MST adjustable ones, and they're so much better. I really like these. They're just more detailed than the kit ones. The kit ones aren't the best. So there we go. There you go. So that's my very rare Porsche 934 that still needs to have the modifications done, even though I've had it for 2 years. And last but not least is this from Mardave, the Mini 50. Now this was a limited production run of only 50 cars. There was a few more produced, which I'll come on to in a little while, that were for development and stuff like that. But this is very rare. Now the reasons it was made like that was because tooling from them back in the day, a lot of the tooling was pretty much destroyed, so there was only enough bits and pieces to put together for 50 cars. So it was decided to make it a limited run of 1 to 50 and then to sell them off. Beautiful car, super. It's all carbon all the way through, and I'm lucky enough to have the one that's got the optional carbon bumpers. This was something that didn't come as standard, but I was lucky enough to get sent them from Mardave, so big thanks to them for that. As well as the reason I have two bodies, this is the body that came with it, and Mardave actually commissioned this body for me so that it's actually as the box art, so that's why I have two. So technically two 50 mini bodies. This one still needs to be finished. I know I'm still behind on it. I need to sort the windows out, but it's pretty much done now, even though it's got the old RCKicks logo on it. Now, when you bought one of these, if you were lucky enough to get them, and a lot of people didn't get hold of them, you actually got a certificate as well. Now, if you read on the bottom here, it says kit number 00. Now, this is not one of the 50. It's actually a version that the best way to describe it is this is the media car, because this was sent to me to put on the show and to show everybody. So I was lucky enough to get chassis 00. Now, as far as I know, there might be one or two others. I know that there was a test chassis that as he was working through trying to see if he could actually produce them again. And whether he's got one or two of those still at Mardave, but I have 00, which I am totally blessed to have, and it will stay in the collection and never be sold. As the way I look at it, this is rarer than the 1 to 50s, but it's beautiful. I love it, and I have to say the body was painted up gorgeous, and with all that lovely carbon fibre, it's a beautiful little thing to have in the collection. So there you go, that's all the road cars. There is a few that kind of bridge the gap between road and rally, but we will be doing a rally video with all my rally cars. Then we'll do a buggy one. That will probably be split into two because there's so many buggies. Then we've got to do the monster trucks and everything else in between. So stay tuned. There's going to be lots of these videos. To show you the whole collection is going to take me about 4 or 5 videos. So hit that bell notification so you don't miss any. Thanks very much. Also head over to the RCKicks Facebook page, as there's thousands of people chatting about all things RC over there. See you soon.